up, guys? I'm Alex.
I'm Jason. We're the Table Monkeys, and today we are going to discuss training your hook on a pulley system. So one of the important things about training with weights is that you make sure to train the right lane and the right movement so that it actually translates over to the table properly.
Right, so a lot of people are using cupping by pulling towards them, which is great. It has some carryover, but when you're trying to establish a hook, it's much better to come across with your shoulder and take your opponent's rotation first before moving on.
And you do that by getting your hand behind your opponent. So as opposed to pulling Alex into me and fighting all his back pressure and everything that he's established, I'm trying to get behind his hand, attacking only his thumb. And once I've got that set, now my cup is established. Now from there, I can either drive to the side, drag back, hold him in spot, roll out. Like I've got a lot of options once I've actually got that hook established.
And that's much more applicable to real arm wrestling. So if you practice these movements on a pulley system and then go to your table practice, it'll feel just like arm wrestling and you'll be much more comfortable in that lane.
Yeah, and you even hear Ray talking about this with Larry recently, is that once he was able to actually show him how to do the lifts properly, and then he'd get on the table with him and say, okay, now just do that lift, all of a sudden it works and the movement actually like translates to the table. And this is just another example of that. So here's some footage of us doing the movements, and then we'll just continue to explain what we're trying to do to make this translate to the table. Here we go. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is set the hook. So what you wanna do is you wanna have some sort of a spinning handle. We're using an offset here, but the main thing is that you wanna make sure to pull the tension out of the handle before you start so that it's taut in your fingers and your wrist is flat. And then you drive to the side like Alex is doing here, trying to force your knuckles past the center line of the handle to basically hit for position, as you hear people say a lot. So this would be like your initial hit in trying to get into a hook. It'd be to the side, committing your shoulder, sliding your elbow across the table, and really trying to drive your knuckles past your opponent's hand and compromise his thumb or rotation. Okay, so just another angle or another example here is me doing it. So again, pull the tension out of the handle to make sure that you can feel the weight in your fingers and your wrist is flat and you're in a good starting position. And then drive to the side, pushing your knuckles past the handle, committing your shoulder and sliding your elbow across the pad. Reset and repeat. So this is a great way to practice setting the hook with weights. And as we said, once you really feel this kind of side movement and the way that you're using your knuckles to kind of force yourself into a hook position, when you get against an opponent, you just imagine their thumb being that handle and driving past their hand and trying to turn their thumb in, and you're going to notice you're able to take the rotation a lot easier on the table than if you were to just try to pull it out of them by pulling it towards yourself. Okay, so the next thing we're going to work on is the drive. So we're going to first hook and then we're going to drive to the side. So set your hook, hit for position, and then once you've got your position, finish by driving to the side. So the drive to the side is going to be a lot of elbow, a lot of shoulder, and obviously your cup is going to be, being challenged as well as you go further with the weight down to the pad. So set your hook and drive to the side. Okay, so this would be like a hook and drive or an H3 on our hill of arm wrestling techniques. And you can practice it a few different ways. You can either set the hook and then do a bunch of drives. You can set the hook and drive each time. You can use it kind of like combos, but the first thing that you want to do is hit for position, and then once you've got position, then you finish with the move that you've chosen. So again, here we're driving to the side. It's a great way to train your elbow, train your shoulder. It's a lot of internal rotation, and again, it's a safe way to train side pressure that will really relate to the table. Again, once you do this on the weight stack, go and try it on the table. First thing, set your hook, and then once you've got your hook established, try driving to the side the way that you were doing with the weight and see how it works. Okay, moving on to the drag, which is going to be our third movement. So first thing again is set the hook, and then once you've got your hook established, you're going to drag back with a lot of lat drag, and you're going to slide your elbow to the opposite corner of the pad. And this will add a lot of rotational force against your opponent's pronation, as well as the drag and down pressure that you're giving is going to really attack his biceps. So it's a great way to open up your opponent's arm. First thing you do is set that hook and then drag him back with your lat and your down pressure again, dragging your elbow across the pad to the opposite corner of the pad, so back and across, right? So hook and drag. So this would be the H2 on our hill of arm wrestling technique. And again, once the hook is established, the drag is just attacking your opponent's rotation in his bicep by dragging down and back with your lat and dragging your elbow across the pad. One more time, and you don't have to train it with a pad if you don't want to. Sometimes it just feels better on the table, or it's just a lot easier when you're able to switch left and right hand. Obviously, I can't train my left hand right now, so I wasn't doing any left hand work, but Alex was going back and forth, so he preferred to train without the pad. Okay, and then once you've worked these things out, it's good to kind of work them all together in different patterns and different kind of set schemes. So here's some examples of that at full speed. Setting the hook a few times, hitting a few drives, and then hitting a few drags. Again, pull the tension out, hit to the side, set that hook. Once you've set the hook a few times, then maybe set it and drive to the side. Once it's set, drag to the back. Combine them, use them together on the table. Like the video, share, comment, all those things, and monkeys out.